Women Work Well is a community that centers working moms and offers resources to help working moms balance work, wellness, and womanhood. We profile everyday women to show you how to live abundantly, love your babies, and level up in your career. Welcome to Women Work Well.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Like, I am so excited for this conversation. How are you, friend?
I am doing well. Doing all the things, but doing well.
Doing well. Okay. So it's Friday. Like, we've reached the end of the week. Like, you've made it through. Give us just one word that kind of summarizes your week.
Discernment.
Mm. Okay, y'all. So I am joined here by my friend Zephrine. I am Desiree Coleman-Fry, host of Women Work Well. Women Work Well is a community that helps working moms love their babies, level up in their careers, and live abundantly. When I think of that live abundantly piece, Zephrine, you like radiate that. You radiate positivity in all that you do. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell the people who you are?
All right. Well, thank you, Desiree, for inviting me. Hi, I'm Zephrine Hanson. I am a farm business owner and I focus on lavender and different entrepreneurial products that can come out of farming. I also have been with my partner for 23 years. He and I have 3 children. Our oldest is 14, and the twins are 12. We have 12-year-old twin daughters. And my life basically revolves around all those intersections and trying to make them work. It doesn't always happen seamlessly, but we still have all the balls in the air, and it seems good right now.
Of course, and that's to be expected. Y'all, I like to start with a word for the week that really just hopefully gives us some reflection as we head into the weekend, as we head into Juneteenth. Okay.
Yes.
And for me, like, I think the word of the week is reflection.
Ooh.
Y'all, I have just been thinking this week, and I don't know if it's because I'm about to take another trip around the sun because it's my birthday. Um, but I've been reflecting and just considering, like, where am I? Like, what is required of me in this season of life? Y'all know I have all of the life changes, all the things they say you shouldn't do all at once. I have done, got married, moved. We have moved again. I became a bonus mom. Like, I changed jobs. And so, it is this process of just taking inventory of where I am, where I want to be, and like what it's going to take for me to get there. So I love this community. And one of the things that, as I thought about our conversation, Z, is tranquility, right? Motherhood can feel like this frenzy, it can feel overwhelming and exhausting, but you deal with lavender. Like, if there is nothing more green, right? You are dealing with lavender. So just talk to us a little bit of like about what tranquility and motherhood means for you.
Acceptance of where things are. I love that you talk about the lavender because that is actually a project I do with our children, and they don't love it. They love the backyard farm, and because that's quick and we can run out there. But the lavender, that's real work. So it has been a place where I have had to learn how to be a tranquil mother, because it's a place of peace for me and work. For them, it's just work. This is just something mom has us out here doing in the summer. And this happened last week. Is my husband was talking to them, and they were like, "We do this, to help your mom's business. We're out here supporting her, even though I know you hate pulling weeds and being out in the heat." And I just had to be okay with that because not everybody's gonna love everything they do all the time. And I think sometimes as a mom, our tranquility, and I put that in air quotes, is because we're taught that it's to make sure our kids are happy and then we'll be tranquil. And in this,
Mm.
mm-hmm. So yeah, so you brought up some things that were real, and yes, I love the lavender. Like I said, my husband was like, "You're so happy out here pulling these weeds, like you are good." And he's like, "The rest of us are working, babe." And I was like, he's like, "But we love you, we support you, we want this study to go well, all those things." So that is accepting that it's not always going to feel easy. The other thing is we just did a quick staycation at a local resort, and they got to be in the lazy pool and swim all day and order, resort menu food that is way too expensive,
Yeah.
um, and not that great, but they enjoyed themselves. So also being able to teach them that, look, we're going to work hard and we're going to play hard.
So the thread for me, I think I hear you saying it's like balance, right?
Absolutely.
And also not anchoring your feelings in somebody else's.
You
You know,
cannot.
right?
You cannot.
Especially like if they are fickle teenagers or, toddlers who
Mhm.
also may be terrorists, like, so not anchoring your feelings there, but then also this idea of acceptance. So it's a little bit of seeing the situation for what it is and being like there's nothing else that I can do, and like being okay with that. I feel like that is not what we're taught. Like, we are taught to serve and to cater and, like, you know make
Take
sure.
no time for ourselves. Like that's almost, a sin in motherhood, to take any time for yourself, to do things for yourself, um to center yourself in any way. I mean, just like to ask, like, hey, I need X, right?
You ask your
um,
partner that, like, are you like, I've had it up to here, I just
Oh,
need a
we
moment.
do that before because we've already, done the had it up to here. We're on the part of implementing the tools that we have gathered over this 23 years. Like that is, and then adding children because it was just us for 10, which that's a whole different relationship, right? It was just us. And then now, we have teenagers and we take turns. Like we really do take turns. The other thing is, I mean, I have an amazing assistant at our home and she's actually going to college in July. But after having hired her, I decided, like, nope, my whole goal is to find another her. Like, pray for her, write about her in my journal, like, because she was a complete game changer.
Okay. So I'm going to dig into this because you said a few things. Number one, it's not just being like, oh my gosh, like I'm so stressed, but then like recognizing, okay, you keep getting to this point. So what do we have to do to like make sure that you're okay and that you're well? So talk to me about like what you and your husband came up with and how y'all figured that out.
One, we do things just for ourselves. That's not always easy, but just for us as individuals. Again, I would say like 23 years, people say they want that, but that is work. That's commitment. That is growing together, giving each other space in a way that's healthy. So there is that. You take time for you, I take time for me. Uh, Again, having, an assistant in our home because we homeschool prior to the pandemic. Um, and we needed support. So she's really a part-time teacher. So leaning on that is leaning on her, because most people have their kids out of the house anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day.
So you were homeschooling. That's a
Mhm.
whole other thing. We're gonna stick a pin there and then come back, right? But when you talk about the support that this young woman provided in your home, like what did that include?
Uh, Going over their lesson plan with them, doing the science projects that are messy and they go outside, just even taking them to the museum, the park with me, right? So it's more you can breathe, right? Because trying to manage three children by yourself, sometimes even teenagers can be a bit much. So that's how that was really helpful, is allowing her to really be a part-time teacher, because I was doing it all. I was teaching and running a business and kissing boo-boos.
I'm sorry, y'all. You may be getting a little bit of background noise, but I apologize for that. So, for someone who is struggling, who is feeling like, okay, I don't have the resources to hire someone, like, what would you say to them? Like, what are some ways that they can build in um, tranquility naturally into where they are?
My go-to is to set up your children based on whatever their age they are in a safe space for them to manage themselves. And that depends, that's on age. If they're 3, you might only get 5 minutes. If they're teenagers, you might get an hour and a half, right? And so if you have to, I'm thinking back to when they were little and they were toddlers. Sometimes I just have to lock myself in the bathroom, and they're going to get to watch cartoons. I know everybody's anti screen time, but screen time is better than mom's screaming time. So that is how I look at that, is you know getting up before your kids. And I know that can be hard, but to me, that's gold. That is gold, especially if you don't have outside support or have a partner supporting you. I was raised by a single parent mom. She was doing it all herself. And now I understand why she cherished, her morning time before my sister and I were up. So that would be my best, tangible resource is if you cannot get time during the day for this, take it at the beginning of the day. Not the end. Like, cuz you're too tired at the end. Pour into yourself at the beginning.
And so it's almost like starting your day off right
Hmm.
and figuring out those small moments where you can steal away a couple of moments to be centered and to be well.
Absolutely.
So for a woman who is struggling like emotionally, mentally, who feels overwhelmed, who feels like I don't know how I'm going to make it. Like, what do you say to her? What are some practical things she could do to really focus on her own wellness?
I'm going to always say therapy first because, I am I am not a licensed therapist. I've been in therapy over, 10 years combined. Best investment in myself. If that is not, if you do not have access to that, there are lots of online opportunities to connect with Black women therapists, and that is what I would do. Like I said, but also in conjunction with therapy. Like, I'm always going to say therapy. I believe there is it NAMI, NAMI. They have lots of resources based on your intersections, Black woman, veteran, and I highly encourage people to do that. And then journal, find some kind of creative, outlet, and it could just be as like a yellow pad. It doesn't even have to be a fancy journal, of getting whatever is out in your mind that is negative, and also then saying what you want.
So you use journaling A to just take all that's happening up here and get it out, right? But
Hmm.
then to use that to kind of like take action.
Absolutely. I would say when I'm getting out the negativity, I prefer like little slips of paper that I can recycle, because,
You like
I don't want to
literally
keep
throw it
them.
away. You're
I
like,
literally throw it away. I have a box that I then get rid of once the box is full, because then I can see that, like, wow, I was carrying all of this mentally. I actually use our LinkedIn creator box, that the wood one that all of our stuff came in,
shout out to
right?
LinkedIn.
Okay. Uh, so I throw them in that wooden box, and then I release that. I use my journal though as a way to talk about what I want, what I
Mm,
am looking towards.
that's
Even
beautiful.
like I said, even this morning, all kinds of stuff is going on: business stuff, house stuff. My amazing assistant was sick this week, so that meant I was doing hair. I was doing all the things that she helps me be great. I tell that to people all the time. She helps me be great, because she focuses on the things that the girls and Alexander don't really need me to do. Cora and Kayla don't need me to do. So I can put that energy, and make sure,
I
we're
love
paying for
that.
college and stuff.
So you're getting some affirmations in the chat here. Denise says that she wakes up early and remembers sort of
Yeah.
like that time. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna lie, that's not my gift. I mean, to know yourself is
Farmer. I'm farmer and prior military. Like getting up early. That's when all the like in my mind, I'm like, yes, I do sleep in, but like the morning time is,
so
magic to me.
okay, so hear me out. Like to know yourself, to love yourself. And so I think I'm setting myself up. If I'm like, I'm gonna get up early, I'm gonna get up. Everybody's gonna make it to where they need to go, but
Hmm.
this early business. But I do love what you said about like having specific moments of serenity throughout your day. I think sometimes too, if folks are working remotely, it's like grind, 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 and it's like just never taking a moment to just like stop and process, hey, what am I feeling? What's
Hmm.
going on in here? And I think also too, um, I don't know if I shared this here, but I love like going on walks. And I mentioned that we moved and I feel so blessed and thankful and grateful. So we're like settling in. But part of that move is like now I can start to like go take walks and be active. And so one day I was like going on a walk and then my daughter like came to the door and she's like, "Mommy, can I go with you?" And I was like, "Nope." And I sped up and she's like, "Mommy." And I was like, I will be a better mom if you just let
Hmm.
me go. Like just give me a few
Yes.
minutes. I will be a better mom. And like I came back and I was able to like re-engage and like I was centered and well. So I do love
I am so happy that you said no. Like literally, there was one time somebody was like, "Mom, I want to go," and they had an attitude on my whole walk, and I was like, "You know what? You can walk home and let me enjoy. You're just out here bringing your negative energy, out into nature, right?" And so that's why I said, "I'm glad you said no." That is. Again, I learned the lesson from that walk. I said, okay, let mommy have her walk. If you want to go, when I come back around, so yes.
I love it.
You was like, I'm out.
No, I sped up. I have a shade. I have a good friend, Karen Marie, and she is always just like reminding me, take some time for yourself. I think that's so hard. I know that you love nature. Talk to me about like what you do in nature and like
Hmm.
how that supports your wellness.
Well, one, I love that you said the walking, and I'll post it after this. I took a walk last night. Like I said, the week wasn't quite going the way. I actually took two walks yesterday, one with my partner, and then in the evening by myself. And I really, depending upon your spiritual belief and practice, but I really do find like source, higher power, God, however you describe, in nature. Often like the trees, will just rustle, and even in the winter, you see them sway. There's no leaves, and it just reminds me that someone created this. There was a seed, it had to grow, some of it died, then it came back, and so it allows me to pull my energy back to me, and then also just be blessed by the energy of being outside. And then like farming, like I said, farming kept me outside. And then I was like, oh wow, there's other stuff to do. And we live in Denver, and Highline Canal is like this. You go walk it, and we moved here. I didn't even know what it was until I went walking. I was like, oh, this place is amazing. So it allows me to slow down. I find inspiration. Um, yeah, I just have nothing but good things to say about it.
So I would say if folks are like, but I live in an urban jungle, or like finding, even if you're not able to physically get out in nature, like stop, taking a look out a window, looking at the birds, flow by, opening up a window to hear like all that is beautiful. I think it's really
Nature sounds too,
good
because
sound.
not always like I'm originally from the West Coast, and I like ocean water, and so that's not here. So I hear streams, but sometimes I just put my Spotify on and find some ocean water and just you know sit and breathe. So and if you're in an urban jungle, whatever, like a nice rock honestly can just remind you that the earth, like, one of my daughters collects rocks, and
Same.
I'm like,
my 12-year-old collecting rocks.
yeah,
Okay, get these rocks and put them somewhere.
okay. And so, but it grounds her, right?
Right.
And so
I'm
those are the
just be
things.
grounded in your room. Like I just don't want to find random rocks.
I give up. I literally, I will get this house back when, either they're in college or whatever their next steps are in life. That's another thing about motherhood. Like, embrace what this is. I definitely would have appreciated just for myself, and I'm sure my kids, if I was a more relaxed mother when they were toddlers and in elementary, because many of the lessons, like I learned now, stuff is gonna be everywhere. I'm gonna ask you to pick it up 10 times, but I am gonna ask you to pick it up 10 times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that kind of full circle back to acceptance. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's what it is, and
No one warned us about motherhood or explained it, and at least my experience is the women I know, who are working moms and farmers, from farmers to women, who are running large financial organizations, right? I know the gambit of women in that space, and we have the same challenges. We need support in our caregiving, and we have to accept that we are changing the game, for a lack of better words. And so it's going to feel a little different and sticky at times.
but I hear you saying like carving out your own path and carving out what works for
Absolutely.
you and carving out that piece of tranquility. So if you had to just say to folks like my challenge to you is like
Hmm.
what one or two things that you would say to folks and you would challenge them for finding tranquility in their life and finding that acceptance, what would you say?
Whatever is causing you a challenge, I would look at that and what can you implement? What can you act on to change that? And like, I love what you said. You said, I like getting up early sounds great, but I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure. So I'm gonna just make sure everybody gets where they're supposed to be. Great. There's no need, because once you get them where they're supposed to be, you can take 15 minutes in your car. You know what I'm saying? You could take an extra long walk to your office, or get yourself a coffee on the way back home. So that is what can you change right now based on your life, or what can you implement, what action can you take, and it could be a small one.
I love it. And that speaks to the intentionality piece. We have a question in chat and I'm going to throw it to you. And it's about like the advantage of being a working mom. So, from wherever you are, like, regardless of industry, regardless of, what country you're in, what is that advantage of being a working mom?
I have to say, I can't say the advantage is being a mom. I am a woman who wanted to always have my own career, and I also was a woman who believed I would always be a mother, specifically to twin girls. So, like, I feel like, my prayers, my hopes are answered. The advantage is I am getting to do what I want to do. Like, this is what I want. Uh, I am not exactly sure of the question. If it's like, what do I take from motherhood that benefits my career? Is, I run a small team and have ran a small team, since 2010. And learn how to meet needs and organize and get
And
people to
by team, you
places.
mean your family?
My family.
Right. CEO
Okay.
of your home. That's right.
Right. So that I've managed that team, and then also being in corporate spaces, nonprofit spaces, doing teamwork as a job has also helped me look at my children as individuals, and not just like, oh, you're going to do what I want to do, right? How do we get some buy-in?
I love it. So I'm just going to leave summarizing a few thoughts, which is the intentionality piece. Like, start with where you are. If you can afford to hire help, do that. But if you can't, like, what are the small ways? I love how you said sit in your car for a moment, like take the longest walk,
Mhm.
walking into the office just so you can absorb a little bit of nature, accepting. I feel like this is like the serenity prayer here, accepting the things that you cannot change, right? And just embracing it. And then focusing on like the things that ground you, whether that's nature, whether that's taking a walk, whether that's just taking some deep breaths, like all of these things ladder up and create tranquility in motherhood. Dee, I am so grateful that you joined me this morning. Thank you for blessing us with all of these nuggets of wisdom and practical and actionable things that we can take with us. I hope that you have an amazing Juneteenth. Happy Freedom Day. Um,
Thank you.
and happy Father's Day to your partner.
Thank you. The same to you. I hope you are going to do a lot of celebrating this weekend. And thank you just for sharing your platform and this opportunity.
Love it. Love it. All right, y'all. Be blessed and have a fantabulous weekend.